You know how many other people wish they had the opportunity that you're having right now? There's so much people that wish they had that opportunity, but everybody looks up to each and every one of you on every voyage. People want to engage, they want to see what you guys are doing, they want to be a part of you. And that's a special thing. So, for those of you that have never voyaged before, and those of you that have, you know what I'm talking about is, make every sail your best sail and work towards um, helping one another, working for each other. Because, when you're on this canoe, 62 feet long by 20 feet, and the deck is actually only like 12 feet. And to be in that space for a long period of time, um, sometimes can be challenging and can be tough. But when you have a good crew, and you have a crew that's working for each other, working for a common goal, and that is to, number one, is keep everybody safe. Number two, have a successful voyage. All of these things that are important, not only to voyaging, but important to us as being good human beings, and wanting to make sure that I'm doing the right thing, giving extra, I'm helping out the next person, and then it becomes contagious. And then you have a good crew. And there's nothing like having a good crew, especially beyond 30 days. Having the opportunity to sail with somebody for 30 days, 12, 16 people, and be able to gel and work together every single day and wake up for your watch and looking forward to being on your watch because I love the people I'm working with, and stay up for that extra hour to help the next watch, that's special. That's special. And when you come back, it changes you. People ask you the question, well, how was your voyage? How was your trip? In the eyes of it all, it's pretty boring. But the moments that we had with this many people, and the things that we experienced and shared together, the things that we saw, is practically unexplainable. And you're being given that gift. And in return, gift each other. Gift each other with aloha and teamwork and working together. And you know what? You just can't wait for the next voyage. So, I just want to share that with you guys. How lucky you are, and represent Hawaii, represent Hokulea, represent PBS to the best of your ability. And that's something we work hard at every single day, because even when we walk away from the canoe, you're still part of this ohana. You're still part of this family, and you're looked at in that realm. So make sure you carry that wherever you go, and you'll be fine. So, getting right into the nuts and bolts of what we're doing today is we're going to go over safety procedures, we're going to go over safety equipment, and we're going to see how that all works. Back when I first started sailing, it was pretty simple. You had a man overboard pole, you had one of those orange life jackets, and that was it. But today, since the last worldwide voyage, things have gotten really technical, and it's just so that we can minimize. We cannot prevent, but we can minimize the chance for anything happening, or we can minimize the chance of losing somebody. And so we have to have more training in regards to safety, because it's a lot more technical, and we want everybody to understand it. Not just the safety officer, not just the rescue swimmer, not just the captain or the watch captain. We want everybody to understand it, because there's going to be a day, and it can happen in the middle of the voyage. You're going to be asked to step into one of these roles, whether it be a watch captain, a rescue officer, a safety officer, or a captain. And you got to be ready to step into that position. And part of that is understanding every component that's associated with the canoe, and is connected to safety. And so, and it's pretty amazing the technology that we have today that we're able to use, that we're using in the canoe. And it's allowed us to keep people safe. But with that being said, there's a little bit more training. There's a little bit more one-on-one training. And you know, this thing right here can be super intimidating. Because as human beings, our biggest fear is the unknown. And it's when we don't know this piece of equipment, we become afraid and ashamed and not knowing how to use it. And the goal is for us to touch it, feel it, open it, look at it, understand how it works, and tie it all in to how it works in the big picture. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to issue you guys one of these at the end of the day after we watch this video. And then we're going to actually show you how it all works between you as an individual that's issued one of these, down to the watch captains, down to the captain, down to the safety officer, and down to the rescue swimmer. How this all ties in and the information that you need to know if you play any one of these roles. And it's all tied in. And there's a couple components. There's the AIS that's attached to this. You know, I've never fallen overboard, but during the worldwide voyage, everybody knows who fell overboard already. I'm not ashamed to say it, and neither is he. So Gary fell over, and everybody was like, how come he fell over? But the question that I had, well, what happened after he fell over? Because as a rescue person, I want to know what hampered his ability to get back on the canoe. And so I kept asking questions, and I remember having the conversation with Gary, and one of the things that he told me was he couldn't swim. I think the main reason he couldn't swim was he was hanging on to the bilge pump. But what he said was, along with that, was the life jacket inflated too much. It was in full inflation, and so it hampered his ability to be able to swim. And so a lot of what we do in the training rescue world is we actually put the stuff on, we use it, we deploy it, and we learn how to use it to the best of our ability. And so one of the things, right after that happened, the next leg was from Mauritius to Madagascar around the Horn. And so gathering all that information, I personally made some changes to the man overboard pole, to the procedures utilizing this, and we actually trained with it. And it was so valuable, the training that we took away from that Nainoa asked to incorporate it into all of our training. And so that's what we're going to do. And it begins, so I'll say this.
This is the checkers game.
The last voyage, which was supposed to be to the equator and back, we missed one component. And that component was so essential. Thank God we had rough weather, and we weren't able to go. We're stuck in Lahaina. So what we did was we utilized that time to do the actual training, and we found our flaws. So I'm going to go back a little bit. We went to San Francisco. We trained up on all of this stuff, and we didn't miss a step. This last voyage to the doldrums, to the equator, we were supposed to go to, we got stuck in Lahaina, so we took that time to do some training. But before leaving for that voyage, we're doing what you guys are doing right now in the classroom. But we missed the second day. So when we were in Maui doing the training, there's a lot of confusion. The same thing happens in the real world of somebody falling overboard. There's going to be a lot of confusion. The more we understand, the more we know, the more we understand how everything works, the more capable you are going to become in that role. Because when somebody falls overboard, all 16 members on that canoe has a role and a responsibility that is essential to the timing of getting that person on board that fell overboard. Everybody. It's not just in the hands of the captain or the rescue swimmer or the safety officer. Everybody has a role. And so we miss that component. The second day is showing everybody how it all works in relation to the AIS that's on board Hokulea, the computer that's on board Hikianalia. And so we have to do that all over again when we were there. And I told Nainoa the problem was the second day nobody showed up. I'm going to say this. This is not important until it becomes important. And then it becomes super important. And that's why I'm saying is you guys need to show up day 1 and day 2 of all the safety procedures. Hikianalia's safety procedures are different than Hokulea's safety procedures. And that is because Hikianalia has engines. So, but you need to be comfortable with both. You need to understand how both work, because Hikianalia's job is to support Hokulea, right? And so we got to understand how both roles are played so that we're all thinking about what my job, how efficient can I be doing my job? Whatever my job is on that canoe, I got to do my job the best I can right now, because we got to pick that person up that either fell over Hiki or fell over Hoku. Okay? So we're going to go through that today. Today we're going to do one phase of it, and then tomorrow we're going to go to the canoes and we're going to see how it all ties in. And you're actually going to look at your jacket and see how it all works. And so tomorrow we're actually going to get wet as well. We probably won't do it in front here. We'll probably walk to the ramp, the boat ramp, and we'll do it off the boat ramp. And that's only because I want you guys to understand how things work. And jump in the water. And for some people, for me, I learned by experience. By making the mistakes. Now I know what not to do. And for some of us, that sticks in our head. And so I want you guys to have the opportunity to swim with this, put this on, let it deploy, fully inflated, swim, and then deflate as much as you need to, because we're all built differently. So that you know, okay, now I can swim. And you need to understand what that is and what that feels like, so that in that moment of chaos, you have to have the ability to find calmness in the chaos. That is slowing everything down, talking yourself through the situation, which is going to help you tremendously. You know, it's everything goes into slow motion. When and if, I don't know if any of you have ever had a situation where you were in a situation that was like scary or challenging or intense, and things go into slow motion. That's what's going to happen when you fall over. You're going to be like, did this just happen to me? Is this real? Is this real? And that canoe's sailing away. And you're going to be like dumbfounded, like speechless, powerless. All these things are going to happen to you. But how do I get myself back on track? It's talking myself through these situations, gaining control of chaos, finding calmness in the chaos. So this is just one of those steps that we need to go through to understand how that process works. Okay? So each one of these will have an AIS. You're going to be asked to test this AIS. Turn it on, turn it off in test mode. And then tomorrow, we're going to go over to the canoes that you are going to be put on, and we're going to look at how it all works on the GPS and the computer that is in Hiki. What's happening is the spring in here gets kind of soft. So I want you guys to check your spring. and it should spring back. Okay? So if the spring is loose and this thing is free floating, then we need to get you another one of these. So everybody check it. Focus, they're bring yours down right now. How's that feel? Good?
Yeah.
The old time guys, they don't like to wear this. And they like to wear it loose. You see this right here? This is loose. It feels comfortable, it feels good till you fall overboard. When you fall overboard, if you run it loose like this, and this thing inflates, this thing is going to go right up here like this. So I want everybody to stand up, and I want you to tighten like you would tighten your belt if you was wearing a loose pair of pants. It should be snug, just like this. You shouldn't be able to stick 2 fingers in the side. 2 fingers is max. You should be able to go on the side like that. Then you know it's snug. This is where it needs to be. Okay? Let's check each other. So Chris, check you. Good. Check me. Check him.
Yep. Good.
Check each other.
Check it out. Yep. This is the good. Yeah. Well, because what's gonna.
Yes,
Good to see you.
Person falls over. When time permits, we're going to look at who that person is. This is our cheat sheet. This is how we know, because sometimes what happens, this happens almost every time, is somebody's AIS goes off. And we're like, frick, what is that? Somebody's AIS went off. Look at the computer, it gives us the number, we pull up the sheet, and we go, Chris, that was you.
Again.
Where's your life jacket? Oh, it's in my hole. He's going to go down there, he's going to get it. He's going to, oh yeah, it's on. He's going to go to the steps of turning it off. Okay? But we need to know what that is. We need to become comfortable and familiar with touching this thing so that we're not afraid of it. Okay?
One of the things that you have to do, and especially as a safety officer, to remind everybody when we get underway to arm them, to make sure everybody's one is armed. And also, as a side note, as Archie brings up, if your AIS is going off, be mindful because it does have to do with water. Making sure that when you're not on watch, you have this hung up in a relatively, hopefully, dry place, that it's not going to be getting too wet so that AIS doesn't go off.
AIS is line of sight. Okay? How this works is line of sight. The other thing, if one does go off, watch captains, safety officer, rescue swimmer, and captain, I need to make sure this sheet is readily available. Because if I don't turn it off in time, guess who's coming? The boat that's in the vicinity. Because it's a warning that somebody fell overboard. They're going to come, and they might call a Coast Guard. You might get the Coast Guard over here, from here on in, so everybody needs to pay attention. Okay. What happens, how this works, when your life jacket deploys, okay, when you fall in the water, and you deploy your life jacket, what's going to happen is it's going to inflate, right? It's going to be a quick inflation. In the process of that quick inflation, it's going to activate the AIS. What's going to happen is, if you look at it, there's a string that's attached to the gray piece. Everybody see that? When that jacket inflates, it's going to pull that gray piece out. All right? So that's what we got to be careful. How do we know it's activated? If you look on the top of this AIS, when this gray piece comes out, there's going to be a silver antenna. It's about maybe 6 inches long. It's going to unwind, it's going to pop out. That tells you that this thing is live. It's activated.